1, 2, 3.
Bro, we're off. We're totally off. You get the gist. Y'all get the gist.
I'm also adding a remixed version before it.
Yeah, so double the goodness.
Game of Thrones.
Yes.
This is our bonus episode
Yes.
of the Game of Thrones.
And we will be talking like this the whole time.
I am going to try and give a British accent.
I'm horrible at accents. I've been thinking this whole time while y'all been talking.
My
like that.
wife has been helping me in trying to get a British accent. I'm not sure if I have accomplished it or not. I very much emphasize words that are not accurate to the accent, but I do not care.
Wow, that sounds like it'll
Very
get
posh.
tiring real quick.
Very
Yeah,
posh.
it's very tiring.
But I am
Very
terrible
posh.
with the British accents, but
I'm
I
joking,
can
I'm
do
not
a
gonna do
mean Toro Conudo.
Was
Todo
that
Conudo,
Dothraki?
was that?
Is that Dothraki?
Grey Worm.
Oh.
Oh. No, dude,
No.
Daenerys made up words when
Oh,
talking
Yeah,
to
she
you.
did. Emilia
She
Clarke,
straight
yeah.
up said that.
Bro, I didn't even know until a few weeks ago that girl suffered 2 aneurysms while she was
Yeah.
freaking
What?
Yeah,
filming.
you didn't know that?
How did she not die, dude?
Emilia Clarke, the first season.
Yeah.
It was the first season.
Wasn't she like
There was machines keeping her alive, and she
What?
like asked to pull the plug.
to die?
Yeah, because she was like in so much pain and stuff like that.
Are you serious, dude?
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
thought you
know
knew about
that.
that.
Crazy.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then
Craziness.
she survived.
Yikes, dude! Thank God,
I
Yeah,
know.
can you imagine if they had to replace that character?
dude.
like
She's also in
Spartacus
Han
too?
Solo.
Yeah,
Daenerys, Queen. No.
of
Yeah.
the Andes,
Yeah.
the Unburnt,
Mother of Dragons.
the Breaker of Chains,
This is Jon Snow,
King of the North.
King of the North.
But
I
yeah,
can't
she's
do
a
an accent.
fighter, offset and onset, and
That's
That's true.
awesome, man. Oh
Yeah,
my
we're-
gosh,
we're-
it's so great.
we're lucky
One
to
clap,
have her.
one clap for
That's
Daenerys
Khaleesi.
Targaryen. 3, 2, 1. That
And
hurt.
as y'all know, or you don't know, and if you don't know, you're missing out. But the premiere is April 14th. That
Yes.
is less than a week from our recording now, and it will be about like 3 or 4 days from the release of
Yeah,
this
it'll be 4 days.
episode.
So this episode is actually full of spoilers if you haven't watched the previous.
Yes.
It's not gonna be spoilers.
If they haven't watched the previous season.
I'm gonna be honest. If
if
you're
they're not caught
watching,
up.
if you're watching this one about season 8, then I'm sorry. I'm not even. I'm gonna apologize for not wanting to apologize for the spoilers
Yeah.
because at this point you asked for it.
Shame.
Shame.
Let's
Shame.
just say y'all need to leave now if you're not caught up.
Correct.
Because we ain't gonna say
Actually-
no spoiler alert.
Actually,
or anything.
if it's on YouTube, just do the scroll thing on the bottom and get to the end so we can at least get your view.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, do you want to just jump right into the theories or what's popping?
What's your favorite theory so far?
Bran is the Night King.
That's
which,
probably the
ouch.
most popular one too.
It is the
Yeah.
most popular,
At least top 3.
and I feel like it is the unlikely one
You think so?
out of, because you know what? Because now that I've been talking about it a lot with people, and I even talked about it at my new job, dude, legit for like 30 minutes,
On company time.
on company time. Well, there's no clock in or clock out at my job. I'm just there.
Oh wow,
So,
that's a real job.
yeah, it's a real job, dude. And I only get a 30-minute lunch. So that's a downgrade from my hour. There's information, and this is always with every theory. There's information to prove it. There's information not to prove
Mhm.
it. So there's a lot of information to prove that, we'll get into it, that, the Night King is not actually Bran. But I really want to believe it is because it makes the story just so much better.
Yeah, because it would bring about the tragic ending but there will be like a finality to it. Like Jon's gonna have to kill his brother,
Correct.
and
Mm-hmm.
that will, resolve the issue. But the thing is, also, is Bran really Bran anymore? At the same time,
He's a three-eyed raven.
Did he
So-
say like he renounced himself, like he's the three-eyed raven?
He
now?
doesn't even think, like, he doesn't think about it, and two, he, in his mind, he is the three-eyed raven. There is no Bran.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a few options with that. I feel like knowing pretty much everything, or not every literal thing, but knowing about so much of the world's history and knowing
And future.
so much of the details of what's going on in this world is like way too much for one human to handle.
Yeah.
So I feel like it sort of morphs into this entity thing, which is whatever the three-eyed raven is. And people are also speculating that in that cave, that somehow the three-eyed raven transferred himself into Bran's body, and that's not Bran anymore. Because ever
It's-
since he left that cave, he hasn't been the same.
Or like the three-eyed raven is like an entity that takes over the host.
Right, yes.
I get it.
That Bran is legit dead.
That
And
would-
and Myra said it. I think that's her name.
Mira?
The one that's been helping Bran, where her brother got
yeah,
stabbed
her
and
brother
died.
got stabbed and died.
Yeah. She said it like, you died in that cave. And I think, yeah, it was meant in a figurative tone, but I think there's also a little more literal context to it. Like, that dude, like, Bran's legit gone.
Or at least the more he's becoming three-eyed raven, the less he's
The less he's there.
being
Because, bro,
Bran,
that dude showed up to freaking Winterfell.
and didn't care about his family
Yeah,
at
when
all.
Sansa's there, bro, that it was so awkward. She's like, and he's there, stone cold, like,
Legit.
He doesn't even know her. Yeah.
and he's talking to her in such a cold, sullen voice.
Because family is nothing with
It's nothing in
everything
the
that
grand
he knows.
scheme.
Yeah.
Yeah, it means nothing anymore.
My theory was that it kind of branches off the fact that Bran is the Night King, but that he's not the Night King. Just that he has in the future, in the past, warged into the Night King.
Into the Night
That's
King.
exactly what the theory is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he becomes a Night King, right? Yeah.
That he's warged to the Night King. It also has to do why the Night King's eyes are so weird. If you see the Night King's eyes, it's the seven-pointed stars. So it's either that like the Night King was sent by the gods, since the fact that dragons have come back, which now means that magic has returned to Westeros.
To like bring back balance.
Yeah. So now the gods have like unleashed the Night King, and then there's the other side of the coin where Bran has warged into the Night King. That's why the Night King always sees everything Bran sees at the same time Bran does.
So you believe all the gods are like one same god, or you believe they're opposing gods, or gods that are
I
working
think they're
together?
opposing ones because there's that whole about the gods from the Septum, like the one crazy guy when he was carving the people's the star into the head, and then there's like the Lord of Light,
The Lord of Light, and
yeah,
then
the Lord
there's
of Light,
also the drowned god.
Mhm.
the John God. Yeah.
There's also the ¿Cómo se llama? There's something else I'm forgetting. There was the old gods, and then there's the new gods,
Mhm.
Mhm.
which all
There you
are
go.
part of the same religion. And then there's also the Does the Dothraki have one? Don't they have one?
Yeah, they have a god.
the great stallion or something
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah.
There's just gods,
Or
in
like a
every-
great warrior guy.
Yeah, like each region of the show seems to have its own thing, and they appear to be different gods. Like they're not all the same god, and whether they're working together or they're opposing one another, I don't know. I guess hopefully we'll find out at the end of the show, because they haven't really talked about that at all. They've been very vague as far as like who the gods are. And
Well, let's
whatever.
break it down. One of the theories is the Night King might have been sent by the gods or could have lived many lives.
Yeah.
If you break it down, it says, if you look closely at the eyes, you can see that the pupils have 7 points. The 7 points is the name for the many faces of the one god widely worshipped around Westeros. It's possible that the Night King could be their agent.
And you know what?
And he was sent to cleanse Westeros of their sins. With the dragons now being returned, it's possible that has been overdue, that magic should return to the land and the people populace And the other interpretation requires a much closer look. It looks like they're made up of multiple irises, but one specifically, blue one specifically with the black people. They're saying that these could be the eyes of the whites he can see through, or if the Night King is Bran, they could be remnants of those he's warged into. Anyone who wargs can see through the eyes of the things they possess. And as Bran has already proved he can warg into people, those eyes in his own could hint that it has a greater effect on him than anyone could predict. So with that, I believe that Bran went back in time and got to that scene, and we saw that scene when the children created the Night King.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been pushed into the stone or whatever, and he's like kind of latched there and he can't move, and they're like transforming him. Bran actually touched him. He touches him. And then whatever happens, So he could have warged himself to him, tied himself to him. But what it did was the Night King attached to Bran. So whatever Bran sees, the Night King sees. Whatever the Night King sees, Bran sees.
Right.
So it's not that Night King and Bran is the same person, but they're the same person essentially, if you really think about it.
They're like two souls and
intertwined. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like two
yeah.
souls or like one soul has been split into two. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I believe, and I actually agree, and they've even there's like scenes where Bran actually is wearing the same clothes as the Night King, and Bran knows that Luceron, or I guess is the name, or whatever the name of the Lutherion, the dragon that died. They brought chains.
Yeah, the Night King.
The Night King knew
that
the dragon was gonna be there. Why? Because he can see the future
Yeah.
or see Bran's past.
Either or. Yeah.
Do you want to just continue with all the Bran stuff?
That's the most interesting one. I think.
That is the most interesting one.
What you said about the gods, and how they like are the many faces of one god. That reminded me. I forgot of the many-faced god.
Yeah.
And that could be the whole purpose of the series. That all these things, it's all the same thing. Like it all leads to the same thing in different disguises. Like each god appears differently to each individual, but at the end of the day, it's just a guise, and it's all the same thing. So
I could see that happening.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting. And the many-faced god is death. So death sometimes is coming to this whole. I'm thinking about the whole Thanos thing. That death is sometimes needed to balance out life, and
death is needed to balance.
Maybe
balance out
that
life.
In the world of Westeros, maybe it got to that point where the gods are like, we need some death. Like it's time to cleanse society or whatever.
Yeah, I think one of the more spicier
you're trying to change the pace a little bit.
Get spicy with it.
Okay.
The Wendy's chicken nugget spicy.
Yeah. No comment.
Daenerys and Jon Snow might be more closely related than we think.
Yeah, I saw that.
I
hadn't even heard of that actually.
Me either, and I don't even know
that.
all of the information that's being provided to prove that. I don't even understand it fully. Do you want to break it down?
From what I understood was that okay, so you have the Mad King, okay? And who Mad King's name was Rhaegar?
No, there's actually been the Mad King is oh my gosh, I forgot his name.
They just call him Mad King so much you don't even know his real name.
So Daenerys is supposed to be the daughter of the Mad King.
Yes.
And Daenerys' brother Aegar Targaryen, I think that was his name.
Rhaegar, her oldest brother.
No.
Rhaegar.
Yeah, Rhaegar is her brother, correct?
Is her brother, okay. So he ended up stealing away Lyanna Stark, which is Ned Stark's sister, and they had a baby. He hid her away. The baby ended up turning out to be Jon Snow.
Yeah.
Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen, they're around the same age. I would say Jon Snow actually looks a bit older, in my opinion, than she does.
Similar in age at
They're
least.
Similar
in
at
age.
least.
Yeah. Maybe a couple years apart.
From what I was understanding was that the Mad King had affairs with like a bunch of women, but with Daenerys's mom specifically.
Not the Mad King, Rhaegar.
No, but I'm talking about the Mad King, because if people are saying that she is actually not the Mad King's daughter, that ties into the fact that he was dead before she was born.
Oh, I didn't read that. Explain that one.
I don't know. I don't know too much into detail, but that he would have been dead before she was born. According to the things that she was describing that she remembered when she was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah, I remember that.
And that Rhaegar was the one having the affairs with all these women.
Yeah, that Rhaegar had two girls, Lyanna Stark and this girl
Elia
named
Martell.
Elia Martell,
Mm-hmm.
who is Daenerys' mom.
Supposedly. Under this theory.
But I almost don't want to believe that one. I almost don't want to believe it because
it makes it more complicated.
They have to find a way to explain all of that, and they really haven't, or they just don't care enough to explain her origin. Because they explain Jon Snow's is super important. That Rhaegar is his father. But how would they warp or bring in that whole thing about her? Unless they're going to do it at the same time that they reveal to Jon Snow that he's actually not Jon Snow. His name is Aegar.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Aegar.
His name is Aegar or Aemon or something like
that.
No, his name is Aegon. Aegon. Yeah, not Aegar. Aegon.
I think there's pros and cons to this theory. I think it's kind of late game to be throwing in like, oh, by the way, she also had this similar story, just like Jon. But at the same time, it brings up the interesting question, like, okay, when she realizes that Jon is actually her brother
or nephew,
and he has a more
claim to the throne.
He has more claim to the throne than she does. Like, what is gonna happen to that relationship in response to that? Like, is she gonna be? Is love gonna conquer all, and she's gonna be like, all right, so.
Well, what we were reading
I'll give up my whole life mission.
Was that is gonna be kind of ironic, for the fact that Jaime and Cersei, they already have like an incest based relationship, and they don't rule together, but you know they even though they have a rocky relationship right now,
they're a reflection of them.
Rule together, and is a mirror in that sense that Jon Snow and by the way, Targaryens, like, they were, not that they're into that stuff, but they always like keeping their lines pure blood too.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, they'd kind of be reviving that whole Targaryen line and lineage, the Targaryen house, if they were to take that route and actually decide to rule together.
Because of the theories that I've seen, I actually don't see that happening, and I agree with some of the theories. And I'll go through them really quick. One of the theories is that Jon Snow is Azor Ahai, which is the prince who was promised.
I think at this point it's pretty much been
pulverized.
No, proven.
Like, proven.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Melisandre states that the prince who was born, or prince who was promised, will have the blood of the dragon, be reborn in smoke and salt. And Jon Snow.
And they kind of threw a monkey wrench into that.
Yeah.
With like, oh, it could be either a girl or a guy. But
yeah, a prince could be a guy or a girl. Like, and I can see how Daenerys will be it. But the reason why I'm bringing up the theory is because the other theory is that if he is Azor Ahai, if he is the prince who's promised to be the king, then Jon will kill Daenerys. He has to kill her. Because one of the stipulations of the prophecy is that the Azor became a hero after he used the sword, but the sword was made from the blood of his sister / whatever, lover, whatever, of his love. And they suggest that the prince will come again to face another darkness. And if it is Jon, he's gonna be forced to sacrifice his love for the good of Westeros, which is Daenerys. And either way, they both have like that like ego thing, like that type A personality where I don't even see how they could rule together.
Yeah, they're two
alphas.
They're two alphas, yeah. And I I remember seeing that he would have to kill Daenerys, but I saw another version where instead of Daenerys, it'd be Melisandre who sacrifices herself, and he would,
Remain with her.
no, yeah, he'd
Like remain with Daenerys.
Daenerys, yeah, and that was Melisandre's purpose this whole time. And there's little
Hmm.
clues and hints here in the show that kind of point towards that, like things she says and stuff that I didn't even notice before.
I was reading that too.
That tie in somewhat with what's in the books. So I thought that was interesting. Either or, I think Melisandre obviously would be less impactful, but maybe it would make more sense. But Daenerys would be a lot more like impactful to the audience, and I feel like that'd be a crazy twist to the story for those who haven't even read the books at all.
Be cool. The other theory was that Tyrion is actually a Targaryen.
That's
Bro,
probably in the top 3 as well.
I've 100%, but I know people that actually disagree with that, and they have like some information to prove that, but I don't know if I believe it enough. Like, there's just so much information to prove that he is a Targaryen, and people say like, oh, like that's too easy, but it doesn't have to be easy for it to. It doesn't have to be hard for it to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he is a Targaryen, dude, that makes me. Tyrion is my favorite character.
Yeah, same.
It only amplifies how much I love him by the fact that he is a Targaryen. He finally finds his family, and then it's gonna get ripped apart. If he is a Targaryen, then I think I believe would be the uncle of Jon and Daenerys, because it would be the Mad King's son.
And he would actually have the highest claim to the throne.
Well, he would be the brother to
Rhaegar.
He would be Daenerys' brother, older brother.
If it's not true
that she's Jon's sister,
that she's Jon, yeah, that is not true. Correct.
So if things are as they are in the show, then
yeah, but I think
they're brothers.
I think they like completely like disregard the whole girl thing.
Dude, what do you mean?
When it comes to the throne,
like lineage?
Yeah, like if there's a boy who can be in the throne, it doesn't matter if you're the oldest.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if you're the oldest girl. So I don't see Daenerys ever being the queen.
No, I see her being the queen because people support her claim.
But if Jon is the true heir, if Rhaegar was the heir and he didn't get it, Daenerys is doing all of this because the throne was taken from her father, the Mad King. So the next person in line is either Tyrion, if he is one, or Jon. It's not Daenerys.
Yeah, I don't know.
I could see Tyrion though ending up with the throne.
I see Tyrion vacating it and allowing Jon to take it.
I would see Tyrion getting thrown, and this is why. In the case that Tyrion is a Lannister, and he has that claim, I can see.
You mean Targaryen?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Continue. We know what you're saying.
Being Targaryen, having that claim, I could see how the conflict between Daenerys and Jon Snow would result into Tyrion. Would result into them agreeing for Tyrion to actually keep the throne for multiple reasons. One, he would have the highest claim since he's the oldest. Two, this whole season, he has always been, anytime he's advising someone or anytime he's put in a high position, he has always been second in command or second this, or he's never received the credit that was due to him.
So you think that because of that, he would want to take it?
No, not that he would want to take it, but that he would deserve it and other people would see it.
I get it.
So like in the case that he's been hand to Daenerys, he's the time when Jon Snow's been alone, he's accompanied Jon Snow and provided him moral support in some areas. He's been handed the king to Joffrey. He led the battle of Blackwater by himself.
So you think he's worthy of it?
Yeah.
I just think for the story, just to rebuttal it, I just don't see how the story will give it to him. I actually see the story killing him.
You think so?
I actually see Tyrion getting killed in this story, only for the sake of the story and entertainment.
No, I mean, I feel like in that,
I just don't see how he fits in the.
I could see it both ways.
In the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I can see both.
I think there's
I
been
just
a lot
lean
of
more towards the death
flags around Tyrion regarding what happened last season.
That is Sansa and Arya too.
With the discussion of that he had with Cersei, and that they didn't show what they talked about really in the end, and her revealing to him obviously that she's pregnant. She did that for a reason, and I believe
Cersei?
Yeah.
Mm.
And
Yeah, she got pregnant on purpose to keep the throne.
And I don't know. We don't. Some are speculating she's faking the whole thing just to have some more power.
Like,
But-
yeah, I didn't think about that.
But she she did that for a reason, and a lot of people are worried about Tyrion because
He might betray.
he's good-hearted at the end of the day, and people don't really know if he's gonna choose his family over his new
That's
quote-unquote
but that's
family.
contingent on him actually figuring out who his family is.
Yeah, and
You
I
what
don't
I'm
know if
saying?
this is true or not, but there was a plot leak saying that Tyrion would be executed next season because he betrays Daenerys and Jon Snow.
Oh man, that sucks.
That was like a confirmed plot leak.
Or rumored at least.
like they said
Because I've heard of that theory about
they
him.
said the sources like it's a generally they've been
reliable-
Yeah. Because the way the
generally- yeah.
season ended was with him standing outside the door, like having
Exactly.
that disappointing look in
Exactly.
his face, or like a worried look
Yeah.
when John and Daenerys were like getting it on.
I read all the
But I
all the
could
theories, and I just don't see. It's so many possibilities, and
There
that's why
is.
the show
I
is
th-
so
yeah,
good.
I think he plays a bigger factor to who ends up on the throne than what he gets credit for.
What I keep reading is Tyrion has one of the most important roles in in season 8.
Yeah.
He has one of the most important roles. I don't know how that happens. One of the theories, and this is the last one that I want to talk about because the other ones are not that they're not important. They don't really add anything really to the story. Is that Jaime will kill Cersei?
Yes.
I actually, because of the information, I can see. I don't know if I believe it, but I can see how this could really happen. Do you know about this one?
Yeah. It's part of the prophecy.
Correct.
So it's probably gonna happen because all her kids are dead, and that was prophesied.
Yeah, but if she is actually pregnant, then that baby has to die too somehow for the
Yes.
for the prophecy, unless he kills it, like he kills both of them.
Well, people are speculating that Jaime will either kill her directly or indirectly. Indirectly would be because of the baby, and she dies during childbirth.
Exactly. Because it would be his child that kills her.
And people are saying it would be hilarious and ironic that if she gave birth to a dwarf like her mother did and she dies.
That's so funny, bro.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. Ultimate justice right there.
That's so
But
funny.
the prophecy just says younger brother, right? So that technically includes Tyrion. Like he's a possibility still to kill her.
That's
as well.
that's if he is that again. That all falls back on if he is a Lannister. If he's not a Lannister, then it does not
True.
apply to him.
That is true. So there's a lot.
And it
of,
only applies to
yeah,
Jaime.
there's a lot of interwoven
But
things.
then
here.
again, Jaime does have a grudge to pick with Tyrion too. After Tyrion killed Tywin.
Yeah, but they squashed it because at the end Tyrion meets with Jaime secretly.
You think Jaime has changed though?
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
I'm with- yup,
He's one of the
100%, yup.
best written characters in the story. Like the arc he went through, bro. Like he's completely turned around, and I think the ultimate fulfillment to his character would be in the end casting aside his love for Cersei for the better good, because that's the one thing he's never been able to do. Like you've seen signs of him turning good and becoming
And then he
a
falls
righteous
back.
man, but when it
Mhm.
came to Cersei, he would throw that all away. The one thing left in his way to becoming the man he wants to be is to
And I
cast
think
it-
that's
cast
why
it
he
away.
will pull the trigger at that time when he needs to.
I think he would
Yeah.
too, because he killed the king, being a Kingsguard.
Yeah,
And if she's the queen, bam, it's
Here we go
over.
again.
He's a Kingslayer.
But I'm excited for this show.
Yeah.
I really can't wait. I was one of those guys that I didn't want to watch it because I'm an idiot. But
That's true. You
you
didn't want to
know,
watch it at all.
I'm kind of late on the joke, but I'm glad that you finally caught up to the show.
Yeah. But wait, before we end, I just wanted to do one more.
All right.
Real quick.
All right.
This has to do with the whole faceless man thing. Someone asked.
Oh.
Littlefinger?
With
There's two
Littlefinger?
things. Yeah, I wanted to touch on those
And
two things.
Varys.
They're huh?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
They're kind of connected. the question that was asked was, will the faceless man Jaqen H'ghar make an appearance in the final season? And the second part I wanted to throw into that is the whole theory of Littlefinger being a faceless man and actually being Jaqen H'ghar.
For me, my point in this is really short. For me, it's a stretch only because I don't see how that serves the purpose. I don't see how that serves or gives any more substance to the story.
I do. The reason is because at the very first season, one of the first things Littlefinger was charged to do was to find Arya, and to locate her and to find who she was or where she was.
Mm-hmm.
The only person that Arya really interacts with, that's curious about her, or who's wanting her help or anything, is Jaqen H'ghar. And Littlefinger always claims, and he's always doing what's best for him. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know where Arya Stark is. But if he were to be Jaqen H'ghar,
he knows exactly where she is.
He knows exactly where she is because he's the...
Yeah, but again, that doesn't add to the story for me.
I think it adds in the whole sense that Littlefinger was the one who set off all this motion of events. He's the one that started the Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And that would coincide with the whole like we were talking about,
whole Littlefinger,
the whole faceless god being
trying to
the
bring
god
back
of death.
balance.
Yeah, trying to bring balance by cleansing society and by setting off these chain of events within the kingdom that would best serve the gods.
I mean, I guess I can see that. I can see it, but
it's gonna be hard to explain.
Yeah, but for me, it just because it's that far of a stretch, I don't know if I believe it. I will entertain it, and I'll be like, okay, there's a possibility for sure.
I mean, didn't his death kind of feel like, okay, that's it? Like, you wrote
for
this
me,
brilliant character
I thought
to just die that way?
No, for me, I thought it was perfect.
Yeah, because he was put on the spot to answer for all his crimes, and Sansa knew every single one.
And they did him dirty, just like he was doing all of them dirty.
Bran kind of jacked them up. That was the thing. Yeah. He didn't see Bran coming, but people only say that because
then Bran would know he's a faceless man.
One, he said he was from Braavos. His family comes from Braavos. Two, that's that one scene right before he dies, right before he gets sentenced. He gives a random woman a coin, a two-sided coin, and then nothing. And they put some significance on that scene, but nothing was said in that scene.
Oh, I don't
They were just spying on him. Like Arya was just like spying on him or something. But he was seen giving a coin to someone, and people are speculating like, oh, that's the same two-sided coin that was given to Arya by Jaqen H'ghar.
Then I'll say maybe at the very least he has ties to them.
He might have ties to them.
I don't see how he can be one. But again, we're gonna find out. And the last one that I want to say, because I just remember it, does Jon and Daenerys have a child? My heart says yes. But I don't think so.
I think it's written on the wall. I think they're gonna have.
I feel like because it's written on the wall, they won't do it. I think they're gonna want to do it, but they don't get to. They definitely get married.
I feel like
they definitely get married because he basically proposes to her the night that they smash.
I feel like the whole theme of death pays for life and vice versa. I feel like the death of her dragon allows for.
Get pregnant again.
Yeah.
And there's another egg. There's another dragon egg. Somebody told me that.
Where?
I don't remember. In Westeros or one of those big cities. There's another egg that they're gonna find, and they're gonna find a third dragon or fourth. Really?
Who said that? How does he know this?
I don't remember. I would have to look it up.
Is that like a plot leak or something?
I just wanted to throw it in there.
That would kind of be like a last second thing, though. Like, oh, there's another egg. Like, you need to provide some backstory, like some evidence that this was set up from a while ago and not just thrown in there last second.
But this has been the bonus episode of Game of Thrones.
Yep. Look out for the recap.
April 14th, 9 p.m.
Eastern time.
I shall be at my house with my buddies and their significant others. While my wife, who does not watch the show, gives us some type of food or drink. I can't wait.
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be great, guys. Tag us in any posts. Tag us in any theories.
If you have any theories, please send
Yeah,
them in. We're interested.
You can hit us up for anything Game of Thrones. After the episode comes out, we're gonna meet again. We're gonna talk at least a little bit of the first episode. We're not gonna get a full glimpse of what the season is gonna be about, but at least it'll
give us an idea of where it's
we'll
going.
come back and we'll see if if it answers any of our questions in the first 59 minutes. The first, I think, 2 or 3 episodes are 59 minutes. The last 3 are 2 hours.
Yeah, so a lot to cover, and we have so little
Our
time.
first 2 are 59.
But we didn't get to go into it. But perhaps for the recap, we can talk more. I wanted to go through who we think's gonna die or live, and just go through the character list.
I can do that
of
pretty
names.
quick. I can do that pretty quick.
Just like
you want to
dead
do it quick
or alive?
You want to do it quick? Dead for me. I think Tyrion dies. I think Daenerys, or I think either Daenerys lives and Jon dies, or Jon dies. I mean, Jon lives and Daenerys dies.
One of the two dies.
Yeah. I think Cersei. I want Cersei to live, but I think she dies. Yeah. So for me, Tyrion, Jon, Daenerys, Cersei, Bran / Night King.
Mm-hmm.
Sansa or Arya, just because they keep hinting like one of them's gonna die or both of them's gonna die. On the other hand, who lives? I say actually no one is. I can see anyone dying, to be honest. I care more about who's gonna die more than who's gonna live.
Straight up, I think who's gonna die of importance.
Yeah,
without mentioning like Podrick.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna go into them. Yeah.
I think Cersei's gonna die. I think
Jaime lives. I think always for me.
I think Bran is gonna die
because
because he's gonna have to face the Night King somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I think and I also think I think Jon Snow is gonna die.
Yeah,
I feel like he is gonna die just because he's the fan favorite.
He can't die again.
Yeah, he's the fan favorite. He's the fan favorite.
Yeah. I'll say for sure the what's that dude's name? The eunuch.
Varys.
Varys. He's dead. Cersei's dead. Jaime's probably dead. Bran's dead. Dany's dead. I prefer Dany dying over Jon. I think that's gonna happen.
Me too.
More likely. Jorah's dead. Arya's dead.
Oof.
Beric Dondarrion's dead. I think Clegane lives. I think
so too.
I
I wasn't even thinking about them because, like, I just feel like there's so many little characters that, not that they're not important, but they're gonna live somehow. Really,
I think one of the two is gonna die.
I see like the little ones, and I say little as in
like support
important
characters.
I feel like they live because the main ones die. You know?
Yeah, I guess so. And I think one of the two is gonna die. Tormund or Big Chick. What's her name again?
Brienne.
Yeah,
Brienne, one of those two.
I don't want them to, but I actually think that
I want
the same thing.
I think Tormund.
Tormund dies. Yeah.
So
but
in Brienne's arms.
We'll see. Either way, I'm probably gonna be balling when it happens.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna cry. I can see that happening.
Yeah.
But that's been the bonus episode. Thanks for tuning in.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
For the night is dark and full of terrors.
Shut up. All right, y'all. Have a good night.
Peace.
Have a good night.
Peace.
Have a good night.